Welcome everyone. Welcome to another live trading session with the 5ers. We got Henry. Welcome, Henry. Always very active in the comments. I do appreciate you, Henry. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Yes, this is our last stream, but let's enjoy it. It's going to be a fun day. We have some news coming up, some high impact news coming up. So it's going to be interesting. See how the market will be reacting to the interest rate of the Bank of Canada. The decision will be today, and that can be maybe a prelude to what's going to happen later on with the FOMC, right, with the Fed. So let's keep our eyes on that ball.
And we have something else today. There's someone in the background. I should probably add him because he's the CEO, and we don't want to waste his time. Okay, Saul, can I add you? You do a thumbs up or something. All right, let's go. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend.
Hey guys.
Oh, himself.
Hi there, guys.
Good.
We're doing great.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Can you hear me okay? How are you guys?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
All good. All right, so today we got some exciting live trading for you guys. I think what we want to do today is we want to be focusing on, well, at least for me, I want to be looking at EU. I'm going to be continuing my trading here on the lower time frames with EU. So far, the result has been quite good. Now, of course, it's we've only been trading this account for I think a couple of weeks. So far, the result has been very good. But I think when we're talking about a trading system, you want to have maybe not only a big number of trades, a high number of trades. You also want to have a trading period. I mean, you can have 200 trades in a month. But then the next month, statistics might be very different because of the market conditions that month. What do you think, guys? How long of a trading period should you expect before you start talking about the profitability of a system?
Who's going first?
You take it.
Well, I think how you're asking how long. I think the first one is how many data points do we have? That's the first most important question. How many trades do you have in the system, right? And I would say you need a couple of hundreds. I've said it in the past, and it's because when it has to do with statistical significance. When you reach around 300, 200, and so on, you can be very precise in the statement you say. You can say it with a high degree of confidence. Of course, you can have conclusions before that with less data points, with let's say 75 or 100 or even 50. But the confidence, the statistical confidence you will have in those numbers is much less. Now, that is the most important point. But what you bring up is very important as well. Because the market condition, they change. They have seasonality. They have the market condition change in terms of risk on, risk off, whether they are a different risk regime. I mean, in geopolitical aspect, it may change, but also the numbers can change on the macroeconomical outlook. And those things don't shift quickly, right? So I think to answer your question, you need, I would say, at least, well, it depends on what is realistic to have, because
let's just say 6 months. Can we say 6 months, like on average? Like would we say that if we take an average, we're looking at scalpers, swing traders. Could we say that 6 months it's a good starting point?
I would say if you have enough data points, less than that, it can already be enough. But that information is only telling you how your system will perform in the current conditions. And what you want to know on the long term is how it performs in other market conditions. And that 6 months may or may not be enough. I don't think so, really. You'll have to have much longer than that to have like a longer term outlook or perspective of how it will perform in different market conditions. But if you're only saying, okay, and if you're not focusing on the very long term, but only on how long should it be, then I would say 6 is plenty. I would say 60 is plenty, given that you have enough numbers, data points.
6 months is good. Let's go with 6 months. If you're profitable for 6 months, that's a great starting point. I would say that's my point, right? If you're trading and you're trying out system and you're profitable for the for 6 months, that's a really good starting point to continue trading and developing that system. But Saul, on to you. What are we looking at today? Are you looking at any possible trades here? I just went long on. I went short on EU based on this 5-minute level right here. We had a rejection here on the 1 minute. Looks like I'm gonna get stopped out right now. I went short at the very bottom here, which is not. It did look good when I entered, but it is what it is.
That's always the case.
Was the signal? Yeah.
The signal was this candle right here, like that one. That told me that you have a move up, right? And then that's a strong move to the downside. And then if you look at the next candle, there's a wick right here, which means that there's actually let me put on a level here. So what I'm saying is you have this bearish candle going down, and then if you look at the next candle, there's a wick testing that breakdown level right there. There's like a low time frame break and retest there, and it kind of looks like price wants to come lower. Yep. And then if you zoom out, I got on the 15-minute and even on the 5-minute, there's somewhat of a level here, and it looks like you have a sort of a rounded top here, and it looks like price might want to move slightly lower. But at this point, I'm getting ready to get out of this trade as soon as we, if we reclaim this zone as support, then I'm getting out of the trade.
I'm looking at your screen right now, right? So that is that's a sell on the. Basically, you're looking for a break and retest, right?
Yeah, the break and retest was this level right here.
Okay.
That was the break and retest, right? That was the retest. And when you had that move to the downside, it kind of confirmed to me that the retest has happened, and it looks like we now want to move lower. But we'll see. As long as this is resistance, I'll stay in this trade. But yeah, let's see.
We do have a very nice trend line. If you connect the all those lower highs on EU, even with the one before that as well. I don't use trend lines for signals or invalidation of anything, but I mean I see them and I know the market reacts to them quite a lot.
I'm gonna switch over to trading view, because what I have on EU on trading view is when we go into the lower time frames on the 1 minute, what I like to do when we add trend lines is I'm using the parallel channel, and then what I like to do is connect. So connecting this one with that one like this, and then I extend it up to that one. So this then becomes the actual trend line. It's like a wider type of trend line, because I do view my trend lines as the same way as
areas.
Exactly, areas. And so
diagonal areas.
Actually adding that level, what I see now is this pattern, which is obviously not looking great, because now we have sort of this. So we actually do have almost like a break and retest of that trend line is what I'm seeing right now. So the fact that I actually sold here by looking at this analysis, that's not a good entry, because that's actually almost reclaiming that. But as long as we stay here and we hold, let's see on the 5 minute, as long as we hold this level as resistance, I'm willing to stay short. So as long as we're below this level, then I'm willing to stay short here. As soon as we see that this structure is shifting towards more of this, then I'm going to get out of the trade, and I'm only looking for a move, I believe, down to this level right here, which is also, if you zoom out, this is the high time frame 0.618. You go to the daily, and you see right here on the daily you have the 0.618. So I'm just looking for a very small move back down to the 0.618.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I see what you're seeing too. I mean, the higher time frame has been bearish, right? The order flow, the market structure has been quite bearish, and it hasn't really switched back. Although there has been if I may put my screen on, we have seen from yesterday, we have seen some nice recovery, but it hasn't taken that line yet, this level yet, which is, to me, the line in the sand for things to get bullish again. As soon as it doesn't take this on, at least on this time frame, then that hasn't happened yet. And even if it seems to be breaking that trend line, doesn't mean it's going to go necessarily continue to go much higher. This can only be a retrace for a continuation. So I see your point. It regaining that higher time frame bias or order flow going forward, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and especially too, or at least in how I see things, we have formed yesterday, or not yesterday, yes, the close of yesterday, we formed the bearish order block on the daily. And that is, to me, another reason that it could continue. It could, and it has already done that, right? That wick, come back, retest that order block, and then continue to its final destination or final next destination, which will be the daily order block below us. At least that's on the higher time frame. This makes a lot of sense, which is aligned with how your trade is. So let's see how it develops.
Saul, I want to know your views on EU, and preferably a slightly short bias, if you will.
To be honest, I was, I just opened my screen and I was, okay, this is about to turn to the upside. We had a lot of momentum to the upside previously, and then last week we had the retracement, and I was expecting, in the upcoming days to have the turn and continue to make another impulse to the upside. But when you zoom in and you go to the hourlies, or you go to to lower time frames, you see the last movements to the upside. Maybe I'll share my screen, and
yes, please.
Be easier to screen.
And by the way, while you share the screen, I just want to comment on this comment here. So the idea here with the 5ers is to give people the opportunity to actually fulfill their dreams of trading full time. So you're saying here that the next few years you want to be trading full time, and like that is very, very possible if you stick to a specific system, or you really learn to trade with the you understand the basics of technical analysis and the way the market moves, and start developing your own system, and you can prove to yourself that you have like I said before, like maybe a 6 months track record of that being profitable. If you just stick to that process that you've created, being profitable and being able to move full time in the next few years for you is very, very possible if you put in the work to do so. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with our scaling plan, I know a lot of traders trading with us that of course, after the learning curve happens, after they are experienced, they get into they start managing enough capital to start trading full time. But the learning curve is what it takes a bit longer. But once you're there, I think taking advantage of prop firms makes that dream of going full time way easier.
Definitely.
Euro USD. Am I sharing?
No. Yep. Let me share that one. Let's go.
So this Euro USD on the daily. So I'm seeing, of course, we have. I don't see a clear trend from last month. Okay, we're kind of stuck in these sideways markets, and we're kind of reached the top. Okay, and we expect a continuation to the downside, but given the strength of last, previous impulse to the high, even though if we're going to go even lower, I expect kind of a bounce and then a continuation lower, something like that, if we're going to continue lower. So at this point, we had the strong dents to the downside, and then we kind of have a slower days, and at some point, I want to see the turn and the next leg to the high. Then we zoom in to the hourlies, and we see, we had these strong impulses to the upside, and those were not strong enough to make that turn on the dailies. Okay, so for example, we had this very strong demand area. We tested, and we have a weak reaction, and not only we did not turn at that point, we broke lower. So these areas are called swap zones, where demand becomes supply or supply becomes demand. And now instead of having a demand area, now we have a fresh supply area, and we see demand areas becoming, where there's supposed to be buyers active, there's actually more sellers active. So we kind of see the shift on the pressure of the big money, and we don't see here clear, potential buying areas. So we have this one right there. That's a demand area. That's a great area for when the price comes back to that level, buyers will be willing to cause a movement like that. But instead of that, again, we see no strong reaction. We see weak reaction, kind of a strong reaction, but completely rejected. So I kind of start reading the shift of the bias from going long into going short. And to be honest, if we stay in the in the hourlies, I don't see any other strong buying area all the way to down here, which is on the dailies all the way down here. That's the level. So unless we have like a clear like a new we have the FOMC, we have news announcements that might bring that new buying pressure to the market to create that impulse to the upside. Unless that happens, I think we will see failed attempts to go up, and we will continue to see prices going down all the way to this level, to this demand area, because there's not enough strong demand areas to stop the price, stop the selling pressure, and turn it into the upside. So that's a long story to say. I was willing to go into long positions when I opened up the charts, but as I started zooming into the lower time frames, I struggled to find a good opportunity to buy. So I'm just staying in the sidelines, and instead of that, I went to the go on.
Yeah, so I like the fact that you're looking at key levels, and then you're asking yourself, what's the reaction to these key levels? And you're expecting at this level for EU, you're expecting not expecting, that's the wrong word, but you're seeing a potential or possibility of a reversal of the downtrend. But you're looking at the reactions to the level, and they actually become weaker and weaker and weaker. There's no big buyers coming in and actually buying that level. And on that, you're looking at the 1 hour right now, and you can see that you got the characteristics of lower highs and lower lows. And what I'm looking, and by the way, my EU just hit TP right here. Oh, good, nice stuff. All right, we're rolling, making money. I made it. How much did it do in that one? Let's go. Oh, well, okay, $20. Wow, how? That must have been a mistake with calculations of the lot size of $20. Really? Okay, never mind. So what I'm seeing here is if we can switch that market structure that we're seeing, maybe just get above that previous 1 hour lower high, then that would signal to me that we might go up to that next red box above.
If we clear these ones.
Yeah.
That's something it's very hard to call in advance, because there's there's high impact news that bring new flows to the market, and those those could cause a new demand area right now. And then you read it saying, okay, it's the reaction from previous area, but in fact, it's a new demand area being created just in front of our eyes because of that high impact news. So if there was no high impact news, intervening, I would go. My bias is has to be short. Long term. That doesn't mean short term you cannot make money also to the upside.
We have a question here about high stakes account. If there is any minimum of time you have to hold the trade, and I think there's no minimum amount of time, right?
No, there isn't, as long as it's not kind of an AI or high HFT,
high frequency trading.
Yeah, bot performing milliseconds scalps and all kind of things, because there's certain delay between what you see on your end and what happens on our pool accounts. So tiny millisecond trades are not replicable to the real market.
Right.
So that's why there's no point on you guys making money using those kind of tools or services when we cannot take advantage of those in the real market. But if you if you're scalping by yourself, you can hold 30 seconds. There's no problem.
That's a very good point you made just there, because a lot of people come into this industry and get funded account, and I think they're entitled to certain things to trade in whatever way they want, and I think people have to understand that it's the 5ers that have the capital. You're trading within a pool of capital, so it's just completely normal and logical that the firm would put rules in place, because just like you said, there's no point in someone coming in, getting a funded account, making money on that account, but the firm is not making money. It's supposed to be a win-win situation here, so that makes perfect sense. But we don't really have any high frequency traders, not allowed as well, so I don't think that's not what the question is about here. It's basically just and you see that, you see that on this live stream quite a lot. I open a position, and a couple of seconds later I close it. Same thing with you. It's like scalping like this is just a couple of questions.
All right. Yeah, no, there shouldn't be a problem with that.
Yeah. Okay. So what else are we looking at? Are you looking at any? Wow, I should have stayed in that short. That is a strong move to the downside right now. We are seeing EU is potentially. The 1 hour candle is definitely breaking down here. So it's interesting. We looked at that level that I looked at. Let's. I'm going to switch over to my MetaTrader quickly. So we did look at that level. As I mentioned, if we stay below this level, I want to be short. And this is something that I would love to explore more with this type of trading. What happens if I let the trades run? Like, what would be the win rate? What would be the risk to reward? I've tested this now on my swing trading strategy. It is not profitable to let my winners run. And it's weird to say that, because it's such a, people view that as a universal truth within trading, that you got to trade with the trend and you have to let your winners run. Otherwise, you're not a trader. But to me, I'm like, well, my statistics shows otherwise, and I have to follow my statistics. However, with this way of trading, I think there might be a slight edge to actually letting the winners run and perhaps just taking partial profits. Because if we look at this trade right here, this would have already been a very big winner. So for me, it's just a time. I feel like I don't have a lot of time to actually do the testing necessary, because there's many hours behind testing different parts of a trading system. But it's necessary to do. I think it's definitely necessary to do if you want to improve that edge.
If you don't have the time, to do it with back testing, where you do everything from scratch, waiting for the signal, etc. What you can do is look at the data that you have, your history, because those are, if you did everything right, those are already signals. So you only go to the chart on those moments you enter the market and do the ask the question, what would have happened if I left it, I used another rule to close it, have a TP that is much higher, or maybe have a time stop which is much wider, right? So not a level stop, not a price stop, but a time stop.
So now on EU, I'm looking at this level below. I'm thinking, not really sure. I think right now for me we're in kind of like a no trade zone. I would like to see a touch of this level. This is where I'm getting ready to go long if we do have a good reaction to this level on the lower time frames. Basically, what are do your back testing when your kids are at school? Okay, so I thought that I thought Henry asked me if they teach back testing at school, and no. That would be awesome. I did, however, like I did, I got my bonus child, if you will. I got, my fiance brought me an extra kid, so I got one and a half kids. He's 13 years old, right? And he was sick. He's gonna stay home from school, and I'm like, well, when you're with me, there's no staying home from school. Today we're going to be learning about trading, right? So I had this master class in trading for him. That was interesting. It's very, very difficult to teach a 13-year-old the basics of trading. It's that's a challenge for sure.
In Jonathan's word, you're never too young to start learning about trading.
No, definitely not. I met this 18-year-old kid the other day. He started trading 2 years ago. So he started trading when he was 16, and he now has he now has a paid community selling trading courses. He's been trading for 2 years. He's 18 years old.
That reminds me.
Yeah.
My old son, he's 5-year-old, and he see the charts, and he asked me what is it, what am I doing? It's so difficult because my wife is she's a teacher, so it's very easy to explain a kid what a teacher is, right? They see it in school and all of that, and then explain a 5-year-old kid what are you doing in the charts, right? It's that was a hard task, but I think in a few years I'll get him into trading.
Yeah, my son's 6, and I did this experiment, right, with my youngest, right, 6 years old, and we had bouncing balls, and we went to the stairs, right, and I showed him like what if I drop this ball, right? If I drop this ball, it's gonna bounce on each of these steps, right? And if you reverse that, if you play this in reverse, you'll see that the ball is bouncing upwards. And I'm like, that's trading with the trend, right? Every time the ball hits one of the staircase, you buy, right? And then you sell on the next one. And it's like, oh, okay. So I'm showing him like a trend in the charts. And I think that's an interesting way of like trying to put market movements into the aspect of how, everyday things like a floor and the ceiling and bouncing balls, things like that.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe.
Can I share my screen a second?
Go ahead. Let's oh, sorry. Yeah, let's talk about action trading.
So let me walk you through my the position I'm in. Let me see if that concludes. But it's okay. I'll walk you through my whole. Whoa, that was spreads. What's going on here?
USD CAD. We have news event. We got CAD, Canadian.
Not yet.
No, not yet. That's a big move, though.
Yeah, but why that didn't take me out of my trades?
But did it go straight through your TP and not take you out?
Yeah, I'll complain to the management.
You should you should talk to the CEO, whatever company this is.
They're playing with my tippies. Anyways,
It's the market makers.
So okay, I'll give you my whole analysis, and I'll walk you through my trade. So on the dailies, remember, I think we have these lines from last week or 2 weeks ago, that we have very strong downside momentum, and there's not a lot of demand here to hold these to go all the way to the to the important demand area, which is all down here. And if we keep zooming in, we have this last strong push to the downside. So that's the fresh supply area that gives me my bias. So now we have this nice retracement towards that area, and as long as we stay below that supply area, my bias stays the same, stays to the downside, because I have the alignment from the downside, from the dailies, and now I see this, the key level from the hourlies, and I'm glad to see that this daily candle, which looks very, very strong, it actually is not as strong. We can see it's a very weak movement or slow movement to the downside. So I think we're going to be reaching that area. Let me see what's going on. I think, okay, we are at okay, should be, I don't know why it's not executing my stop. My take profit. Yeah, it's weird. It's been there twice.
I've never had any issues like that.
Let's see if this time. It's right there, huh?
It should be filled. It's been trading there for a while now as well.
Okay, I'll just kill the whole position. Anyways, so let me just bring them back. Trade levels. Okay, so this one here, that was my first. Okay, sorry, I'm going again. So I have my supply area marked, and then I have now the setup. So we were on the 5-minute chart. I have like this strong movement to the downside. I can also confirm that on the on the 1-minute chart. So as I was approaching that selling area, I start selling once, and then we have kind of a one reaction. I sell twice, and then we're talking, and this went all the way to the upside. Now this is a scary movement, right? I was in a drawdown of a couple of pips for 2 positions, but again, as long as below that area, my bias should stay, and my setup is still valid. So I kept it open, and when I saw the next reaction, then I sold again. Ideally, I should have sold with more than 1 trade, because I had 2 down here. So ideally, I should have placed 2 sell orders and not only 1. But it is what it is. And I move all my TPs and stop losses to this level, because now this level here became a new kind of important price in the market. This is where we had the retest and the initiation of this last movement to the upside. So this is like a pivot point, a key level on the 1-minute chart. So that's why I adjusted all my take profits and stop losses to that level. So that's why you see you see the market reacting to that level one time, and then once it came back to that level again, it kind of bounced up again and is struggling now to break it down. So that's why I adjusted all my take profits and stop losses to not request the market to break that level. And that worked out fine. We had the reaction. I closed those one that was like a profitable setup, and nothing has changed. Now this is giving me a new opportunity to keep selling because I see now the momentum coming to the downside. I have now a fresh selling area. So if I get new pullbacks to those areas, as long as before the news announcement and before the selling area here, I can continue selling this market. So that's my whole analysis and execution. And that was like a nice technique of entering into your trades. If instead of going like full lot size on your first entry, you just break your entries and you scale into trades and scale out from trades and the whole show.
Yeah,
nice. I like your analysis. I like the fact that you adapt according to what the market is telling you. Like after it made a certain move, you move your TP because the reality has changed. The reference points for everyone who is watching the same chart has already changed by breaking or not breaking a structure. I like that a lot. The way you adapt to current market situation if they changed.
Yep.
Really, really wants to come lower here. Go ahead, Hector.
No, last week we were looking at GJ, and I'm wondering, do you see the possibility of still a short, because it has gone up into the area that was resistance, and in my opinion, it held very nicely. At least if you look at the H4, the area was quite wide, but I mean, it went in very impulsively. But it didn't break, in my opinion, in my book, it didn't break it. It respected it, and it came down, breaking, structural points. There you go, very nicely. I didn't have your structures, but it respected mine. And now what are your thoughts on GJ before I say what I think, what I could do?
I have, to be honest, I took the, I had the 0. I had 2 mini lots into that trade, and I scale out of one for a small loss, and then the market react, and I closed the second one for a break even. But now I have new information that I didn't have before, and I closed out. I scale out of my trade. I take partial losses once I saw there was a very strong movement to the upside. So I believe, like, at these points, I closed one of those, just because it looked like it had the potential to break and to continue to the upside. But now, of course, we have new information that I didn't have before, which is the full retracement of that movement, and this brings back into the conversation the potential turn that we were expecting. It just didn't happen just at the point I was expecting to happen. But after that full retracement, the setup is still there. And with some extra confirmation this time, I would be comfortable shorting again.
Would you be waiting for an area on the H4, or would you be looking already on the lower time frame?
I really, this time, we had this nice movement to the downside and this nice movement to the downside, but since then we've kind of slowed down. So this is not a good area for me to short. I would need to see, a movement to the upside, react to this level, and then to break, something like that. Like coming to this area, selling area being respected, and then if something like that happens and we break kind of these levels, that would be a nice selling area or something like that. And that would be like a trigger on the hourlies to get into a setup on the dailies. I'll be looking for something like that, because this week movement just invites more buyers to buy once again. But then after the buyers come, I want to see the sellers reacting to that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was looking at that after we talked about it on the live stream last week. I was indeed looking at the price action on GJ, and me too. I concluded that at a certain moment it was looking very good for a short, but it started switching to the upside, and it was doing it, consistently breaking those structures. And then I said, well, this is not a trade. I don't see a signal. But now we have, as you said, we have new information. It formed to me, that's a reversal pattern on the H4. Maybe I can show my screen if you
I just
don't mind.
want to mention quickly that we do have USD CAD news coming out in under 5 minutes, and I think it would be interesting to at the time of the news release look at USD CAD, kind of see the levels that Saul has marked out, see how we could actually maybe get in on a position based on that news event.
It's
Sure,
in 1 hour, I believe.
Is it in 1
It's
hour?
Yeah, I don't think it's now.
It is.
Oh,
it is in 1 hour. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
But so in any way, what I see is the structure, an established uptrend that is, may have been broken by, it's a break of structure. But I mean, this may be the beginning of the switch back to bearish. And if that is the case, then it makes sense to me that I want to be selling from either one of these structures. And the thing I like is it has the daily order block as well. So to me, that tells me that I can take this trade if I were to trade this one and get a signal and have a daily target. And that makes it very, very interesting. Of course, we have a daily order block below us. So that already makes, that would be the obvious place where I would be targeting. But since the structure, if I go to the H4, this is the low to me of the structure, right? So it makes sense that I could even wait for this, how price reacts to, if it indeed does anything that I, a reversal and then come back. Would be, on the H4, waiting to see how it reacts to this. And if it just goes through it, then perhaps I could target the next station. But all of that hasn't happened and may not happen. But I thought it was very interesting how GJ was showing something and then switched to bullish, but it's now showing it again without breaking, invalidating the previous view. So I think there may be something here.
I like the fact we have similar levels marked with different names.
Yeah, I was watching
I'm not sure.
your rectangles.
Let's take a short on USD CAD. Gonna show you that one quickly. Let's see, where do I have my screen? Right here. So right here we got this level right here. So what happened was we found support around this area, right? And I thought, okay, so maybe I can buy here if we kind of like reclaim this one. But then I saw we broke below here, and then we have this candle coming up testing that low time frame breakdown area. You can add a level right here. So the fact that we've used that level as support, let's up that TP a little bit, gonna tighten the stop loss. So the fact that we use that level as resistance and then straight down, and we have another level being used as resistance, and that's where I wanted to get in on the retest, tells me that there's quite a lot of selling momentum going on here, and I'm basically looking for a move down to the support down in this region right here. So let's see what happens here if this is just a wick and I'm gonna come higher. But it does look in the lower time frames that we have lost significant support and heading lower. Let's see.
Yeah, I agree.
What were we looking at? See, we have a question here. How do you analyze market top down, and how do you mark where to trade? Yeah, that's a question with a complicated long answer, but
Yeah.
I would say it
I think we can spend some time on that question on the second hour.
Yeah,
where,
we'll cover. Yeah, I think we covered that question in the second hour. We have a very similar way of adding these levels that Saul has. A little bit different ways of executing Oh, look at that. That is not what I want to see. So depending on where this 1 minute candle is closing, I'll close that. Okay, it's stopped out. Let's see how much did I lose on that one. Lost like, okay, that's good. One R on that one.
I would like to show GU.
Yeah.
If I could, let's look at that. I know I know from the top down, when we look at the same with EU, when you see the market condition, this is very bullish, right? It's obvious in an uptrend, making higher highs, higher lows. That's all good. However, the last couple of days, we've seen that the market has shifted. It's no longer in the same impulsive bullish, trend. And the question is, how far will this retrace, which it is, from that impulsive move it made last from when was this, the 8th of August, right? Basically, the whole month of August, it was impulsive. The question is, how far will it go before it, regain and continues to go up? I don't have any idea because I don't see anything in the market that tells me that. So on the higher time frame, I'm cautious. I don't think, we have enough information. If anything, you look at the daily, if anything, is forming bearish order blocks. So if anything, it's telling me it's not ready. So that's one thing. But that's on the daily. I know that. However, when I go to the lower time frames, I see a very, very nice reaction of this H4 order block. I don't trade it because it's not a fresh order block and it's not part of a quasi, but I know the market reacts to it. So that's one thing. And my question is, what if, do I have more reason to think that maybe this could be the beginning of, some kind of, on the lower time frame, this is now the trend, right? On the higher time frame, the trend was bullish, but on the lower time frame, let's see on the H4, the trend is making the price action is making, right, lower highs and making lower lows. So it is in a downtrend. What if this bounce and we had a double? You could even based on the wicks, you could call this a sort of a tweezer bottom, right? What if we had this could be the beginning of a move going, a retracement on that bearish trend. And what do I see? If I see on the H4, I see the tweezer bottom, right? I see an outside bar. I see on this candle, it retested that outside bar and ended up higher, another back-to-back outside bar. It's and if it's not going to go there, which I don't know because that's the future, it's certainly trying very hard to go higher from this level. So on the H4, there is a case to be made that the market could be pushing higher from this point. It doesn't mean it's going to change on the macro and the daily, change everything and start continuing going upside, way much higher. But I think this price action is telling us that it's trying to go higher. And now we have a couple of structures that will stop price or at least slow down. We have this order block on the H4 bearish, which it already tapped into, and we have that daily that it hasn't tapped into yet. And of course, there are some other structures. So I don't think it should necessarily go and break the daily since this is an H4. But I see that's the H4, right? And if I go to the H2, I found earlier on this morning, between these two lines, right, a area of interest, this area. And later on, it formed this area, the bigger one, wider one, but that one is wider, so it's not, it's not better. It's a worse area. And this was this morning. And what does it do? I still doesn't mean that it's going to go higher necessarily, but that's on the lower time frames. You see the pattern that it is doing, which is breaks that neckline, goes up and comes back. And where does it react from? The one of those areas of interest, right? Actually, the narrow one, and it's showing, at least as of now, before the news, it's showing as if it wants to go much higher. And now this this order block on the H4 already was tapped into, right? So if there's something to stop that, probably it won't be this. It should be something else. And I'm thinking maybe the daily, maybe that there's another H4 above me, but something in here perhaps could stop it if it's going to be stopped. And perhaps it isn't, and it's going to go much higher, and who knows. But that's to me like the FTA. If anyone took this trade or is currently in the trade, so that's something I wanted to share, which is if I even go to the lower time frames, let's say on the 5-minute, you can build that quasi that I always show how it breaks that level, goes and then comes back to some see the entry order block on the 5, comes back into it, and then reacts nicely to the upside, right? It's not a coincidence. This is a pattern. It happens a lot of the times, and it's something tradable that you can profit from.
Nice.
I'm muted. I'm muted. I'm trying to explain what I'm doing here while being muted. It's always interesting, doing these live stream muted. Yeah, let me quickly bring up the USD CAD idea here. So you see now that we've reclaimed this level. My idea was to short based on this rejection. We've now reclaimed this level, and I entered here also because of the fact that we had that 5-minute bullish engulfing candle, and the move. I had my TP down here, so you see. No, that's my stop loss. I had my TP, I believe, down here. So the move that I was looking for, we had a small reaction. It never really materialized. But what we're seeing now is basically, a like that. It was basically breaking retest, right? So we'll see. I'm gonna see if I can take this higher.
I hate trading against you, Jonathan.
Yeah, man, this is not what I'm looking at. This is not looking good. Okay, let me take a look at your screen.
No, I'm not in the position, but I'm only looking to to go short.
Yeah, you have a very different level right there. You have that. Okay, so you marked out these highs,
and then you took the confidence from me, and I didn't pull the trigger.
No way. No, but you marked out that level, and you marked it out because of
market previously, like from this reaction to the downside, and then it tested twice and it's reacting from it. The thing is, my whole bias is to the downside, so I'm only looking to go short. As long as we stay, I think, closer to them. I don't think, unless something is leaked, gets leaked or something like that, we're going to break this area before the news announcement. If any, we're going to be around, inside that area at the news announcement, and then, we'll create a powerful movement from there. But as before the news announcements, I don't expect a break to the upside of that level. So I prefer staying to the short bias, to the downside.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do. I do feel, however, that the level that you're talking about is. I feel like it's an untested, it's a clean level. Does seem like price.
We now tested it, with 2 ticks. So if we come back to this area, I'll wait a little bit longer for confirmation before going short. But if we continue to this level, then I'm comfortable shorting that level again, especially because after it, we're very close to the major key selling area. So that's like protecting me from losing. But I just don't see any strong demand area to tell me, okay, let's go long.
No, I mean now it's looking much different now than what it looked like when I entered, and now it's just quite messy. So what I'm looking at right now is I'm hoping to perhaps either my stop loss is going to get hit or I'll get a bounce.
Yeah, but it is messy. I mean, when we started the session, we had like these clean movements up and down and up and down, and now since then we have a lot of black and up and down candles, which make it more complicated. It's more choppy.
I see that too.
I want to show you my screen quickly here before my stop loss get hit. You see how close that wick is to the stop loss order. If this would have been traded on any, like if I would be trading this on my personal account, I would be stopped out right now. Yeah. I would be out, probably even on this one right here. The fact that 5ers have these spreads is really, I can't trade like this on my personal account because then I would just not be profitable.
Yeah, but even then, I do think the volatility is bringing like a spread to 3 points, 4 points on dollar CAD.
It should be higher now, yeah. But like, look at that. I'm not getting stopped out. It's right on that stop loss, and I'm not getting stopped out. That's crazy.
That's the benefit.
Yeah, it is. It's a really big. All right, there we go. That's and the reason I did this, obviously, I got stopped out on purpose because I wanted to demonstrate the power of the 5ers spreads.
How you stay calm and don't go into revenge trading.
Yeah. I've definitely lost my losing streak now though, but it's still good, still in profit, still fine. Everything's fine. I feel like that picture of the dog sitting at the desk drinking coffee and then the whole house is on fire. He's like, oh, everything's fine.
Yeah, there's no problem at all.
No problem at all. Let's I feel like it's quite a boring market today. I'm not getting the type of action.
I think it
is, yeah.
Yeah, the news, upcoming news, everyone is watchful and waiting for who makes the first move, but no one's going to move before the news, at least not in a big way.
Yeah.
Evan is saying I'm a bit off today. Well, that's just because the stop loss is getting hit. Like if TP would have been hit on all of these, you wouldn't have said that. But yeah, I do agree that I might be a little bit off, honestly. I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like I have the same energy, like I've had past few days here, and I feel like maybe when doing discretionary trading like this, it is important to have high energy because you're going to be focused and you're going to take and make split second decisions. I think, I do think it's
but then again
important to have this.
Then again, it shows we are authentic traders, so you're going to see the normal ebb and flow of our energy levels because we're seeing what we are.
Yeah. This is too much. This is too much. This is so messy. Like it's just all over the place at this point.
I one of the guys here. He's a professional chess player, and he told me that chess is becoming like a very it's considered a sport, and that actually chess players in tournaments they burn a lot of calories because they're very focused on on the training on the mental side. And they're like doing like a brain training. So I wonder if the focus on trading is also similar to that. If this would be considered like a workout. If we're getting tired and burning calories.
Well, I think it definitely comes to when it comes to discretionary trading, especially discretionary scalping. That's definitely a thing. I would say it's because discretionary scalping is kind of like a high performance sport. If you're trading systematically though, like if you have a strictly systematic trading approach and you're trading 15 to 20 minutes a day, just taking the signals, I wouldn't say it's less it's easier on the mind. It really is. But what we're doing here is almost like doing a competition. Like you're and we're trading in front of hundreds of people, and it's like, yeah, I definitely think it's now I've lost my train of thoughts. but
I
you're
think
on something.
I think people in the audience would like to know, Saul, do you have any tricks or mental mindset hacks from chess player professionals or people who are very competitive with chess? What do they do to train their focus? Maybe we can apply that as well. Do you know anything they do?
No, but I'll ask them, because they, I can't remember how they called all their, the tiers, their ranks.
Yeah.
But I'll ask them. I guess they have, some training and some techniques. So I'll ask the guy, and maybe we can get something from.
That would be interesting. It would. I think you might. I'm pretty sure that you have something coming up. We're on the top of the hour here, and if if you want to go, if you have a meeting or something, you're.
Yeah. I actually have a meeting right now, starting now. But I couldn't. I'm looking at CAD just going down and down and down. So if I'll continue trading, I'll before the news, I'll continue with that bias. But thank you, guys. I enjoyed the session. We had some nice examples and trades. So thanks for the session, and thank you, guys. And I'll see you next time.
All right, thank you, Saul. Take care.
It was an absolute pleasure. So take care.
Thank you, guys. Likewise.
All right.
I think that's a show of a great example. You don't force the market, right? If you think something, you have a setup, you wait for the market to do that which you need to wait for it to do. And if it doesn't do that, you don't force the market, right? And that's what Saul was doing. He was waiting for the right moment to do a trade. And even though he wanted to show a trade or show multiple trades, he did not get back in the market.
Just get the screen up. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but I will take the mic while you're doing that.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. Nice.
It is.
It's getting hot in here. Man. I can't see outside because I got like, oh, it's getting. I got cardboard over the windows, so I don't have any lights coming in, right? So when I turn off the lights, it's like, look at that, it's, supposed to be pitch black. The problem is I have no idea what kind of weather it is outside, but it seems like it's super hot outside, and we had like record. And I'm wearing this hoodie. I can't be wearing this hoodie today. It's way too warm. It's dripping live here. another type of live show.
You're making
I'm not supposed
the
to
live
say
stream
things like that.
Yeah, you're making the live stream interesting for all the ladies watching us.
Yeah. Oh man, come on, dude. All right, the code. It's time for the code. Let me take a 5-minute break, and then I'm gonna be back in 5 minutes, and then I'll drop the code. All right.
Sure. I will be talking about. I'll be talking about GU.
Go ahead.
Henry
that's a good one.
All right. Let's see. I will show my my screen so we can be looking. We can be looking at GU. I think the opportunity of the market, at least for between EU and GU, as I don't look at all the other pairs, is on GU. As I said, we do have a let's look. This is they are our structures. I know it looks messy. Maybe I should clean this up a little bit because it is what I've been using before. So let me get these out of the way so that they don't distort our views. Let's look at, okay, I think that should be enough. All right, so on the H4, right, this is the reason why I like this setup. And I'm already in the trade. You might have, yeah, let's go. You might have assumed that I was already in the trade, although I didn't mention that. But this is, when I see this, there isn't anything on the bigger picture. The fact that it did that tweezer reaction or tweezer bottom isn't something that, to me, that's not a signal to do anything on its own. But the fact that it does it and it has follow through, right? By follow through, I mean, to me, if the tweezer bottom, right? The tweezer bottom is when you have those wicks like equally back to back, which is two reactions. So on a lower time frame, a tweezer bottom will look like a double bottom, right? Because you'll have to come back to leave the first wick and do the same thing to do the second wick. So automatically you will have, actually, let's look at it. Let's look at that's the double bottom. You see that? That's one, and then the other one, I suppose those are the two that forms the wick. So when you see that, it tells us something, and it's doing it at a relevant area. The relevant area is the H4. As I said, the H4 isn't part of my trade plan to be, taking a signal from just because it's an H4. However, the fact that it does it, the tweezer bottom right at that H4, and then what does it do next? That's the if this was something, if this is the beginning, then it should start behaving bullishly. So that's what I look for, and that's exactly what it does. It doesn't wait much longer to form an outside bar and then another outside bar back to back. That's like super bullish, and of course the market structure is bearish, right? So I don't expect this to go way higher, but certainly it is telling us that it wants to go higher from here. What is it targeting? Is it this high perhaps, or maybe somewhat higher? It's difficult to say, and especially because we have a daily order block here, a bearish one. So I'd be cautious to expect price to push through it, perhaps. But then again, we have news. So if the news is bullish for GU, that may be all it needs for to break and invalidate. Well, maybe not even invalidate, but push through that order block on the daily. So that's what I'm looking for, and I'm already in the trade, as you may have guessed, since I have possible entry in the 5 minutes written on those order blocks, and it did come back to that order block. So you could have guessed that I may have already a trade in, which is the case. So let's see. What else can we say about this on the? Oh yeah, that's the other thing. We just had another outside bar, right? We had one. This was 6 o'clock UTC, right? We had one order block, outside bar. I mean, and we had just now this candle, not the open candle, but the previous candle closed 9 minutes ago, and that was also an outside bar. So it's showing us at multiple levels that it really wants to go up, and of course it goes up as well. So and that's price action. That's what it does. Look at that. That's the beauty of those quasi, as I explained, right? It breaks it quick, I mean easy, and then moves out. Initially, this is your target on a quasi, if you don't have anything else, right? And already reached that target. But if you are trading something bigger, of a bigger time frame, then of course you could be targeting that. And I'm targeting not necessarily this TP, because that was I put it in just now. But my TP, I don't want to be too ambitious with the TP. I would be targeting the next order block that hasn't been tapped into yet, and that is, well, there isn't anything, but there is actually a quasi on the 1 minute. If you see this, you can see that there is a quasi on the 1 minute. And yes, for everyone asking, am I the Batman? Who knows? But you can see that there is a entry order block on the quasi, which is a bearish area, or an area, not very, an area of interest for a bearish setup, which, I don't want to be expecting price to go through it, and may go through it. But that's a great area. This structure seems to me like a great area where, price should and could start slowing down, reversing. And I don't want to be, and if that's the case, I don't want to be in the trade. And especially, we don't have anything on the daily yet to, hold this trade for very long. Certainly not at the end of the day, right? This trade should be closed at the end of the day, because on the daily, there isn't anything telling us that we should be holding this for much longer. So that's that's about the setup. And I see a question here. Hi, hey Victor, when do you enter a trade after price has gone into an order block? That's a great question. That's a very great question. Good one. Do you look for a strong candle that pushes away from the order block? You can, yes, Henry, I look at quasis when it gets back, because the market is fractal. So you can use the same tools, quasis and order blocks and fresh ones, to on the lower time frame as well, because price will do the same thing that I just showed, right? Where it reacts on those order blocks, it does it on the lower time frame as well. So for example, I had this area already indicated, right? The moment it broke this line, right? So that was this morning already. I had these lines put in. Price came in, squeezed quite a lot, right? I got in some structure some trades in when it reacted, went in that squeeze. I got in. It moves out, but it does it again, right? It's a fresh order block, moves out, comes back. So there's another chance here. There, I got stopped out on one of the trades, but I did get in again on the next time it got into this order block, and I'm holding all those trades, because the setup isn't to take off anything within this structure. The setup is to take it to the next station, and in my mind, that is somewhere higher than we are currently, right? Somewhere within that daily order block. So that's the trade. I may close it before the news, if I think I'm risking too much of my floating profit, and I may leave something behind. I'll have to do that, that decision maybe 10 minutes before the news, or before that, who knows. But that's a great question. And what do I wait for? Well, the thing is, what I do is, when price comes back into the area, right? And this time it came here back into the area. I don't enter blindly just because it is in the area, because it doesn't react. It doesn't stop price all the time. It's not perfect, right? The order blocks, they have a certain percentage of time where it does not respect it. It happens all the time, by the way. So if you just go blind in, you will have a difficulty having some kind of a decent win rate. So what I do is, I go to the lower time frames, and I look, using the same tools. I look for indications, reversal patterns, and that can be candlestick combinations, or chart patterns that indicate that it is switching back to bullish, right? So what I would be needing is the same thing that I do on the other time frames, which is I need an established trend. In this case, let's say I have an order block, right? So we have an order block, or an area that I have identified, and I say, this is the area that I want to be trading off. It goes out and comes back to that area, right? When it does that, I want if we zoom in, right, on the lower time frame, I want to see let me get this right, a established downtrend. And from there, I want it to break the neckline again and then come back for some structures within this point and that point. That's where I'm going to be. So basically, I'm doing the same thing, just on a lower time frame. And I want that reaction. That's where I want to capture. And if I do that, of course, the area that, that will invalidate the setup will be the whole order block. So my stop would be probably below that order block. And I just hold it. I'm thinking on the higher time frame, right? So I think I'm not going to take the profit just here, right? Within the lower time frame structure. Let's say this is not going to be the TP, right? Wait, this is on the lower time frame, right? I could be doing this if I didn't have the higher time frame, but because I do, I hold it through to the bigger structure that I have. So my TP will be on the higher time frame, and I will be targeting probably that area or something close to that area, right? If it has something very obvious before that swing high, I don't want to risk that little, fraction, maybe 20% more, but having the risk that it will reject from here and then continue lower. So that's how I enter when it gets when it gets to the order block. But I mean, be my guest. You can the fact that the area, that you can identify an area where you have a high likelihood that it will respond from, that's the core of the idea, right? So how exactly you enter, you're actually free to try different things to see if maybe I wasn't able, but maybe you are able to find a trigger signal that helps you to capture these kind of move, and it comes back into that order block, right? In that, between those yellow lines, it gets in and it moves out, because that's the move that you want to capture. And you can do this, identify similar setups in the past, and go back and try to reverse engineer what signal would have made me get into the trade, right? Make that experiment, and when you have a sign or an idea, test it on new data, and if it's working, voila, you got yourself a system, right? You perfect it, you optimize it, and you can trade it.
Guys, the code is, some of you already figured it out. 15 people have already figured out what the code is. And let me give you a hint. The code is in the title of the live stream. And the code is the first word or the title, which is scalping. Now you have it. It's scalping. Use the link and type that in. And then at the end of the live stream, we will be drawing some winners on that. Okay, so we
that is so true. This user, simple is so important, to keep things simple. There are so many moving parts in trading. There are so many ways you can complicate things, and yes, you do need a couple of things, but you don't need everything, and you certainly don't need a lot of things. But the trick is to know how to be minimalistic without throwing out important stuff, and that's an art in itself, to know exactly what you need and nothing else. So that
seems I banned. Oh, okay. So I banned 2 people. That was not my intention to do so. So
we
sorry about
apologize
that.
for that. It has happened to me too. It's one click and human error. It has happened to me too in the past. So we apologize for that. It
seems like people are spamming the comments with the word, which that's right. Got some Irish coffee, and I was like, I'm on. I was going to ban everyone, all of you, Right? You write the code, and you're gone. No, you're done. You're done. It's done.
You're Thor with the hammer.
That's right. That's right. You participate in the live stream, in the giveaway, by going to the description in the in the description is the link, and that's the one you're going to use. If you're still asking for the code, then you've not understood the whole purpose giveaway. Okay, so let me go in and change so that only subscribers can comment.
Sure. In the meantime, I will, let's see, I will, I like we all do for the analysis, TradingView is way better. But for, for showing the trades, of course, since I don't use it on, you have to use the terminal. So this is my screen. That's my terminal, and these are the positions I have on. These are my entries, and they have different stop losses, and my targets is above a little bit higher. I don't necessarily take it there, and since this is also trades that are copied, this take profit is not actually what is on my master account, but it is something that I do have put in. I just mentioned that. So that's the trade.
Nice.
Yeah, wanted to show that. I have, for transparency's sake, I did lose, right? These are, before I got into these trades, I have a -6R P&L right now, right? So -6 is 300 in this case, right? So for each R is 50. So I'm 300 down already. So if whatever my P&L is, you have to deduct 300 before I actually have the profit of the day. It's not that all my trades go in profit, not even every day, and even when they do, like this time, it's not. I probably have a couple of losses before I actually caught the move.
Yes, so we did put the code out already, and about 90 people have used the code already.
Nice. Well, I hope you guys make good use of it, whoever wins it, because it's a great opportunity. Yeah, it may be relatively simple to win, although it's, of course, you gotta be lucky, but it doesn't really take that much of an effort, right? You do a couple of tasks and you can win an account. But that account can be so life-changing if you've put in the work. It can be the first step of a great, beautiful journey for you as the trader.
It can, really can, and the word is not really complicated. You can probably guess it.
All right,
I'm gonna be sitting. I'm gonna sit down again. Like I was standing up, like I had my standing desk and I was standing up, and I'm like, gonna sit down again. You're standing up all the time, are you?
I am. Yes, I'm a firm believer of working standing.
Really? Why though? That kind of sucks. I mean, standing up all the time.
No, I don't work all the time, but I stream all the time standing. The thing is, as a trader, I sit a lot. So I just made a I want to exchange that a little bit. So I want to be sitting and standing, so I get the chance when we're streaming to stand as much as I can.
Yeah,
to me, here. It's a nice change of position, posture. Let's see. I think we have a question here. How many time frame do you use? Because it seems you use a lot of time frame for analysis and entry. Basically, I start from the monthly and I divide that by factor 4, and I use every step, every time frame I encounter divided by factor 4. So I go from the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, and then I have the 1 and the 2 hour, And these are for the macro analysis and the actual setup, which is on the hourly. And then I go to the to the minutes. The minutes are for the execution. That's where the entry comes in. I don't look at the minutes if there's nothing there, of course. Only if I have an area, price comes back to that area, then I start looking on the minutes, and I use the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 5. But it really doesn't matter. As long as you have a system where you are using some kind of time frame for the higher time frames, like one specific doesn't have to be the weekly necessarily, and you have a methodical way of going about it. That's what's important, not exactly the fact that it's the weekly or the daily, right? So if you have a methodical way of approaching the top-down analysis, and you do that consistently, and your backtesting is based on that consistent approach, and you apply that same consistency in your process to your trading, that's where I think the key is in getting good results. Not on the specific time frame.
I'm actually thinking that EU, because of this wick, and only basically because of that wick, I'm starting to see a long forming here on EU. If you guys remember yesterday, I believe that was, so yesterday, we had this candle right here, that candle, and I said, if we close perhaps this 4-hour candle above this level, then we potentially have a long. That closed very ugly candle, a strong bearish wick on that one, and a bearish candle. Obviously now what we're seeing is let's see on the 1 minute, on the 1 hour, I see this candle with the wick on the 1 hour, and then you also go to the 4 hour and you see that it's such a nice wick on the 4 hour candle as well. Kind of tells me that I do see a possibility of EU going higher. I'm still watching this level right here, and we might have a trade on this at the close of this 4 hour candle, because in about 30 minutes we do have the Joel's job openings, I believe, and in 15 minutes we have the CAD news, which might of course affect the dollar in some cases. So the trade I'm looking to take on EU, and that's going to be confirmed on the close of this 4 hour candle. And basically what I'm looking for is if this candle can close like like a bullish engulfing candle like that, I'm going to get in on this trade. I'm going to have my stops below here, and yeah, that's perfect. I'm looking for us to move up to like this level here. That's going to be half an hour with a very, very wide stop loss. And the reason why I have a wide stop loss like this one is if I get something like this, I can close the trade here for a very, well, actually, I'm not going to close the trade there, but I might close the trade here, and for a very small loss. So that's my plan on EU going forward. And the reason why I'm looking at swing trades here is because there's just no scalp. There's no point in me trying to scalp this market with CAD news in 15 minutes and the Jolts news in 30 minutes. And the way that EU is looking on the 1 minute is just, there's no trades here for me. Then of course we still have EG. I'm still looking to go long at this level. I think it's a very good level to buy. I just need some extra confirmation. That would be an uptrend, an uptrend on the 4 hour. We're kind of getting that now. I'd like to see a break and retest of that level, and the trade is then enter here, stops maybe even below the whole level here, and then targeting half an hour, which again is up to the next level above, which is that one right there. So that's the trade I'm looking at on EG, and you can see how, of course, you would be interested in trying to see how what's the percentage of the trade coming up here, or up to this level. I mean, what if it runs all the way up here? We're now talking about a 4-hour trade, which is, in terms of my risk, is massive. But I've seen that, this is where I want to get out. That's where I want to get out. I want that very small initial move to the upside, and nothing more, nothing less than that. So that's EG and EU. Might activate at maybe even the same time, and then I would just split the risk between them. But that's actually the only trades I'm watching right now. So I have two pairs in my list of priority, and those are the only ones I'm watching. I've taken one trade this week. Took one trade on Monday, and that's this trade right here on USD CAD. It's a half an hour win, and not a lot. It's not a massive. It's not a massive win. It's still a win. I guess we could say that we have a 100% win rate a week, but it's just one. It's just one trade. It's just one trade. But that's the way I'm trading. Very few trades. Simple analysis, simple execution. Very few trades.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. At least for me, I think I
it's
really
yeah,
like that.
I think it's a good thing because it allows you to have a much more stable equity curve, and a stable equity curve, is something easy to go with, easy on your mind, easy on your stress level. It's good to foster good not market condition, but good conditions for a trader to thrive on.
Yeah. This is also good level, but not really seeing any. Yeah. Yeah, like Alex is saying here, 2% per month is 2% per month is really good. That's what I'm trying to say. Like my goal in trading is to honestly, like, it's just, I don't really have any goal. Let's just be profitable. Like if I'm making 0.5% a month, that's great. Yeah, that's great. I make 2% a month. That's great. Like anything between 1% and 5% a month is really good, in my opinion. Really good.
Yeah, it is. I think so. We shouldn't be focusing on the percentage gain.
Yeah.
What we should be focusing is on sticking on with the process, and while you're doing that, the better you're doing that, you add more capital to it. That's the way to grow your income, and not necessarily to look, how do I get that percentage higher? Because the higher the percentage, the more risk, and that's not something you want if you want to preserve your capital.
That's right. That is right.
A couple of 1% is just fine if you can do that consistently. I mean, the potential of that is huge if you can just increase the capital you're managing. What else do you want? What else do you need? You don't need much more than that. Just keep on
I'd like to ask.
capital.
I'd like to ask you a question, Victor.
Sure.
How, like, where did you start to learn these concepts that you're doing in trading? So when I say concepts, like if I would describe your way of trading, I would say that you're looking at order blocks, you're using the Quasimoto pattern. You talk a lot about risk management by dividing, taking your risk, dividing it by your max drawdown, and you're taking many trades per setup, and you're looking for very big risk to reward. So where did you learn all of this, and how did it come together?
I don't have a clear-cut answer to that. I mean, the Quasi, I saw it on YouTube, to be honest. I've seen the 5ers. They have a couple of educational videos on Quasimotos in the hub, and I'm not sure if it's available outside the hub. Maybe on YouTube it is available outside the hub. I'm not sure.
I think Gil has a pretty good video on the Quasimoto pattern.
Okay, then I've seen those, but I've seen many others as well, and this is a recurrent theme, but it is true. What I did is I didn't copy it as exactly the same thing that I was being taught in any of those videos and any other videos that I was watching. I watched it and I went on to test it, and I say, okay, how can I use this? Where should I be entering? And does what they say, whoever is telling me, okay, this is where you enter, because there is the Quasimoto, for example, if I just focus on the Quasimoto, is a head and shoulder. Head and shoulder is something that's been known for. It's one of those classical patterns, chart patterns. It's nothing new. But the head and shoulder, the classical entry is when it, breaks the neckline after the right shoulder. And that's something I thought by the time it does that, and I start looking at and start testing it on the forex market, when it does that, since I suppose because the forex market is much more ranging, by the time it does that, there isn't much more. Well, sometimes there is, but there isn't a lot more movement coming out of it. At least not in the testing that I did, and at least not if you want to have a tight stop, which was one of the things that I wanted to do. So I had to devise a way to adapt the classical head and shoulder or Quasimoto to, I want to be catching that right shoulder. And then I start looking, okay, how can I catch that? And it's by asking the question all the time, okay, how would I do this the best? What tools can I use? And I tried many things before I ended up with only using order blocks and Quasimotos. I tried different indicators, and with hit and miss success. And I just, in the end, I said, I want to keep it simple, very, very simple. And I found the answer to be in those structures, because to me, they embody the not only is it graphical and objective, because I use data points that is there, I mean, with now no doubt where they are, where the level is. For example, when I have the open of a bar, that's not open for discussion. It's a data point. It's something objective, tangible. It's there, right? So it's when we have like trend lines, depending on who you ask, they may have different trend lines going different places. And the same thing with levels, right? The levels, I followed Tom Dante as well. I went through his stuff as well, his courses, and I, although I had some success with how he trades, I couldn't replicate that, in a consistent manner. And I think one of the issues that I had, and this may not be something for everyone, was that I didn't have I was missing a way to have my levels without a doubt at a certain place. I always had I think it's here, but that I
right,
think
yeah, you wanted to get rid of the discretionary
subjective.
part, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that. Or at least maybe it's a fault on my side. It's not a criticism on anyone. I think Tom Dante is a great educator, but I mean, I wasn't able to do that. So what I did was I looked at the different things that I knew, that I saw that worked, and I asked myself, how can I use this? And I tried to bring it together in a system. For example, when I try to guess is not the right word, but when I try to catch the right shoulder, what do I need? I need a reversal pattern, because, to form that right shoulder, it has to go up first if it's a bearish reversal pattern, and then reverse and, complete that head and shoulder pattern. So maybe I can show it on my screen, because, it talks better for everyone. Let's look at this. If let's say on the quasi, I think that's let's say this is the quasi for me, right? That's the quasi. And
I'm gonna go
this
ahead
is
and share your
basically
screen.
the oh, I wasn't sharing.
No.
Yeah, I thought I was. All right, so this is the typical classical head and shoulder, right? Where you have the neckline, the shoulder being not the shoulder, but the neckline, both of them being touched by both sides of the head, and the Quasimoto is where it is asymmetrical, right? And the classical way to that you see is that when it forms this, that's the place, that's the sign that the head and shoulder has formed, right? This is the important line, right? Where it breaks it means that's going to go down and probably going to continue to go down. That's the classical head and shoulder pattern. And I thought by the time it reaches here, uh, this is going, my stop has to be all the way up here. That's not going to give me that tight stop that I wanted. So I need to adapt this to something different. So the next job was, how do I predict, or how do I know in advance, where, with some kind of certainty, where is it going to have that right shoulder, if it is going to have it? And of course, you don't know that in advance. You don't have that certainty, but there are ways, and that's where the order blocks come in. There are ways to have an idea. And so I ask myself, how do I? That's not the tool I was expecting. How do I know this turning point? That's the turning point I'm trying to find out, to identify before it happens or as it is happening. How do I do that? Right. And one of the question is, I use order blocks for that. And I try different indicators to predict where that turning point would happen and when it is happening. And I didn't find, there may be better ways to do it, but this is the way I do it, and it's profitable. And I specialized in doing it, and so now I do it naturally all the time. But yeah, that's basically, it's a journey by asking the right questions all the time. What do I need for the what do I want to achieve, and what tools could I be using to achieve that goal? And I go test all the ones that I know until I reach that goal, or I reach that goal. I hope
so
that explains a little
you
bit.
basically take information from here and there, and then you test different things, and you see what works.
Yes, there isn't one place that I learned everything. I had a long time testing different things that didn't work for me, until I used different bits of things. Because with every strategy that I tried, there was some things that were indeed seemed to work, right? And I could see, okay, price does react to this, but the whole system is not profitable. At least I couldn't make it, very profitable. And then I go to moving averages. There are moments where they actually, are good, a dynamic support or
We
resistance.
got news in 1 minute. Let's take a look at USD CAD. See if we have any interesting movements. Right, so USD CAD. I'm looking at that one as well.
Yeah, it's coming out in 20 seconds or so, 25 seconds.
Yep.
There
All right,
we
here we
go.
go.
That's the initial movement, initial reaction, and to the downside.
Yep,
That's
there we go.
very typical of high impact news. Goes one way.
Let's see, yeah, as expected, right? Yeah.
Let me refresh. Yes, as expected. It was reduced by 0.25%.
It was. They did cut rates.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, that's a wick.
It is 18 pips. It is sure.
What is the
on a 1 minute? The ATR.
no, what would you say is the so I'm kind of expecting a move to the downside here. Looking at the technicals, I'm thinking that we've hit resistance, we've established this area as resistance. I think I'm looking for a move lower for USD CAD.
I haven't analyzed USD CAD, to be honest, but I can look at it. Why would you expect a what was the idea you had? What's the reason
So
you had?
the reason is that I'm looking at price basically hitting a resistance, and usually that's as simple as that, you know. Just
Okay.
it looks like price might want to retrace this current move to the upside.
Okay.
But there is, of course, the level that you marked up above. That's a very good level. You know, that's a very good level for a retest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see this. I don't see anything to the left yet for it to stop going up. If I see on the H4, and can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did you ask me a question?
No. The thing is, I thought I'm trying to. Yeah, there we go. No, that's fine. Yes, I don't see a reason yet on the H4 for it to reverse yet. At least I don't have the evidence yet. We have that low here, which a lot of times it tends to be a resistance. We haven't closed that. That you could call that fair value gap as well on the higher time frames. But I don't see yet. It hasn't shifted bearish yet, at least not on the H4. And if anything, it's still bullish. Look at that order block, right? That we are now testing. There we go. And the H4. So to me, that's the at least in this time frame, that's the area. It's perfectly fine that it retests in its continuation, because that's what the order, you can see. Look at that order block there, and you can see, well, this is perhaps around rollover. Is it? Well, it is. But there are, to me, it looks, all this is, of course, is bullish, and it hasn't invalidated this order block yet. That's just on the H4. On the H2, I don't see anything. On the H1, I don't see anything, except there is a quasi, but there's no entry order block. But that's bullish in any case. I don't see anything on the other time frame. So to me, it's just going sideways. That's just a consolidation. As long as it doesn't, break this low and stay below that low, I would think that this is just a of course, this is news on the central bank, so it can change everything. But on the price action, as long as it doesn't, come here and continue lower, I would expect that this is just a retest, a retrace for a continuation. because I don't have any other information other than that. I can see on the 15, but that's not much of a thing. On the 30-minute, I do see some areas here. I don't use these order blocks, but you could use them. How to the degree it respects these structures, you can have an idea if it's going to hold or not. And you can see on this time frame how it respects that 30 minutes order block, very, very nicely. And that's not a coincidence. So that looks bullish to me. The fact that it held at a 30-minute, which is not an hourly, I know, but it is something. It is telling us something, even if it's not as strong as an H1 or an H2, etc. So it is telling me the fact that wick, and that's on the condition that the wick stays there by the end of this candle, which we don't know yet. It's still 8 minutes for its close. But when it does that, I can see price, coming back, and if it does that, and it could just continue to at least this level, perhaps a little bit higher. Who knows? That's what I would. I mean, given the information I just analyzed.
Yeah, and the whole idea for my short is, where it says possible entry 30 minutes lower, the white. If we break that low, then that would kind of confirm my overall short idea.
Okay, great. And if it does break it, I would be interested in price coming back to this and take the short here. So if it breaks these, and let's say it closes below these order blocks, that would indicate to me that it's breaking bullish structure. So that opens the door for lower prices, and it's going to use it can go one way straight away, it go lower. But if it is going to go lower, a lot of the times it comes back and uses something in the retrace, right? I don't know if this is going to happen, but this is something that I would be trading. Like if it invalidates my long bias, which I just explained, then I would like to enter, let's say, on this area, at least in this time frame. That makes sense. There's an outside bar there, so that's the area I want to be shorting with my stop above. Of
All right.
course.
Yeah,
Like
I am very tired, man. People saying I look tired in the comments. I am very tired.
Yeah, it's not easy being a trader.
No, I've been recording a lot of videos, and it's tired. I've been recording videos, doing scripts and recording videos, and then 2 hours again behind the camera. It's a bit it's a bit much at times. Sorry, I removed your screen. You weren't done.
No, that's fine. This, as you can see, it broke it. So if it closed in 6 minutes below there, then my whole idea is invalidated. If it just leaves a wick and closes in, then the idea can still be traded. But as we can see, it doesn't seem like it's going to respect that structure. So, and this is the reason why I don't trade blindly. I don't just go in because it touches the order block. I have much more than that. I go to the lower time frame, and it has to give me, like in this case, I need to go to lower time frame, and maybe even the 1 minute, right? It has to give me a reversal pattern in this time frame. I don't see any reversal pattern, so I wouldn't be entering. Very simple.
Is Eric telling me that I should start drinking? Like, are you talking about water or alcohol? Oh, you got the breakdown.
Yeah, it is. So your short idea is working out nice.
Yeah, so we'll see on the close of this 4 hour candle. We might have a short right there. Okay.
Yeah, if go ahead.
Let's do the draw. Let's do the giveaway.
I think that's a great idea.
Let's do the giveaway, and then we'll look at last couple of minutes. We'll look at the we'll look at the news event as well. See if might have that move on EU. And yes, I have not. No, that's the wrong one. Evans, I will send out everything like a badge at the later today with every winner of the live streams this week. Okay, let's go. Drawing the winners.
Let's go.
Regan C. That's it. Nice. Congrats, man. Congratulations. You'll have access to I want to say 20K bootcamp, but I'm not sure we have a 20K bootcamp available today now, but everyone's going to get the same price. So yeah, everyone's going to get the same price. We'll make sure that it's a good one.
Congratulations indeed.
Congrats to Reagan. Let's switch to my trading view chart here, and I want to show you what I'm hoping is going to happen with this news release that's coming out in under 4 minutes.
We do we have sound in the background? We don't, right?
No. Do you hear anything?
No, I don't hear anything.
You used to remove the background, I think.
Did I?
You
Oh,
did.
that's the
Now it's
background.
back.
That's not the background sound. That's silly
That's
me.
the actual background.
That's the actual background. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Well, it's 400 entries, but it's not 400 people. It's we had right under 100 people going into the giveaway, and for those 100 people, you can have multiple entries, and the ones that are going to have a high chance of winning these giveaways are the ones who have loyalty points, and you get certain amount of loyalty points depending on how many previous giveaways you've been in. So the more giveaways you are in, you're going to reach a ceiling, and I think that ceiling is I'm gonna have to look that up, but I think it's like 10 giveaways. So when you've been in 10 giveaways, you are at the max number of entries, and you can't get any more. So stick around, continue going into these giveaways. That will exponentially increase the chance and the odds of you winning an account.
Nice.
Okay, so we
All
do
right, so
have
the news is 2 minutes to the news.
Yep, 2 minutes, and basically what I'm looking for here, I'm hoping that what I'm hoping here is we'll get a move like that. That's what. Well, actually, I'm just looking for a move up here, and then I'll be waiting for the 4-hour candle close to determine the trade.
That's on EU, right? Yes.
Yep.
EU. It seems like it's breaking out, right? If you look at that trend line.
Trend line? What trend line? This one?
Yeah, that one. I don't use them, but I do see them, and because the thing is, many people are watching them, and if it looks like it's breaking out, everyone who's trading that trend line will be, everyone who is trading with the trend line, using it, will be either going in or getting out. So it is significant, I think, in your assessment of how other traders might be seeing this move.
Definitely, I think. I mean, yeah. Sometimes you might want to look at other. I mean, it depends from a strictly technical analysis viewpoint. Then yeah, of course, you want to look at other things. But if you're just trading your system and you're just doing your thing, then you shouldn't be caring about anything else than your indicators that you need. But I also trend lines are just fascinating, like this one right here. I think they're fascinating. I think they're very easy to identify, and I like having them. I like having them on the chart as well.
Indeed, I don't. As I said, I don't use them in the trade plan, so I don't need them. But I do find them.
All right,
there we go. That's the
Oof,
movement.
Big move. That's the move. Okay, so hopefully this initial move is the real move. So what I'm hoping is that we'll reach resistance here, and then print this 1 hour candle, closing here, printing 2 more ones, and then retest this level. I do not want a retest of this level between now and the 4 hour candle closing. So the 4 hour candle is closing in 3 hours. A lot of time, but this is now a clean level. You can see that you have a clean, as Trader Dante would call it, a clean thrust candle right here going through that level. And we now have a clean, untested level. That's the level where I want to enter, but I need to enter based on the candle close on the 4 hour. We can go up here. I don't have a problem with that as long as it's a wick, and then I still want to get filled down here. That's what I'm looking at. Alex is having fun in the comments. Okay.
And Alex is being missed.
Yes. So yeah, I think I got exactly what I was looking for here. I think now we have a very, very good looking bottom formation happening here on Euro USD. We zoom out to the daily, and we do see that also happened on the 0.618. Let's remove some levels here. Let's make it a little bit cleaner. We can now see the overall reason for me wanting to go long here, right? It's quite simple. Break and retest of a major level, very well visible on the weekly as well. We can add a horizontal line right here on the weekly, and you see that when you go into 4 hour, it's going to be that one right there. That's the weekly level. So here you have a breakout structure in the 4 hour, and yeah, let's see if we can have this 4 hour candle close. Now, it's been only 2 minutes since we had a news event, but to me, it's very clear where we're heading. This is the initial reaction, and by the looks of it, this is also the reaction the market is ready to take EU. But we're at the 2 hour mark right here, and with that said, we're going to be waiting for EU. And yeah, that's it, guys. I would like to thank you all for joining this live stream here. This 3 last weeks, 3 last days, not weeks. Wow, getting tired. All right, guys. Thank you all, and I will be sending out to all the winners. I'll be sending out everything you need with that, and hope to see you all, everyone, next week on Monday. And as well, Victor's going to be in the Discord as well, helping you guys out.
I'll be in the Discord after this live stream on YouTube. I want to thank everyone for your attention, and let's keep following the process we have on our trade plan. That's the best we can do. Take care, guys.
All right. Take care. See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all, go into the YouTube and check our other content.